Hello everyone, how is it going? Hope you've had a good week so far. We definitely have. Coming up, the Ghana Education Service has released strict policies for this past year's West African School Certificate examinations. They will not release the results of students who have not finished paying their school fees. We will tell you what options you have. The AMA is putting provisions in place to control sanitation in the nation's capital, and we will tell you how far some people would go to raise money and awareness for a good cause. That's in What's Trending. My name is Ifwa Akwa Harrison. Please stay with us. News Generation, supported by
Cowbell with Vitarid.
So, if you are a candidate who wrote this past year's WASI and you still owe school fees, then you have two options. You either pay your debt or forget about getting your results completely. And that's according to the Ghana Education Service.
The Ghana Education Service said it has resorted to this measure in the interest of the schools. The service stated most candidates owe their schools huge sums of monies adding up to millions of Ghana cedis. This, the service claims, has affected the smooth running of many senior high schools in the country. As a result, the affected students have had their results withheld until they settle their debts.
Parents are supposed to pay school fees among feeding fees among other items on the bill. And once they don't pay up, our heads of institutions are forced to credit such foodstuffs from suppliers. Recently, suppliers also threatened to go to court, to send some of our schools to court because of the indebtedness. So we think that this is untenable. We think that this practice must stop, and we have no other resort, or we have no option other than to resort to the withholding of results of candidates who have not paid up their school fees in full.
Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Education Service, Charles Parker Alote, says the service is determined to go all extent to recover these monies from the students.
We were forced to put in this particular directive because of the fact that the West African Exams Council do release the results and post them online. And therefore, candidates are supposed to go and access the results online. Therefore, if they get access to the results, you will agree with me that they will have nothing to do with the school, and therefore they will go away without paying the school fees. And that is why we have done so. We have collaborated very closely with the West African Exams Council on this matter. And I would say that we have already given them the list. Those results have been blocked. And therefore, the students who owe must make sure that they pay up before they access their results.
But what happens to students whose parents are poor and can simply not afford to pay the fees?
We look at each case in its own merit, but if you are poor, then we give it a human face. That's why I said that we put in arrangements on behalf of the parents to make sure that they will pay in installments, so that even if you are poor, you would have saved to be paying. That's why we did not allow our heads of institution to collect the monies in the first place when they wanted to charge to collect both second term and third term fees.
Students' indebtedness is not something new. Many students are unable to pay their school fees due to varied reasons. Some cannot pay their fees due to hardship, but others spend their school fees instead of paying it to their school authorities. Camilla Adi is one of the candidates who completed senior high school this year. Camilla said she witnessed instances of some of her mates spending their school fees.
They did a very good job by allowing students who owe fees to go through the examination. But from my point of view, I would say they shouldn't release their results to them until they fully pay their school fees.
She believes the GES's decision is in the right direction.
The parents themselves find every means to pay their fees for their hours, but it's like after getting their fees for them, they just go out and spend their money anyhow. So most of them just do that on themselves because the parents always pay their fees for them. So I was once called by a headmaster for some questions about a student who spent his school fees.
The Ghana Education Service says it will not hesitate to go to court for the monies from students who have no interest in getting their results.
So what do you think about this measure by the Ghana Education Service? Let us know your thoughts on our Facebook wall. It's facebook.com/NewsGenerationGH. Also find us on Twitter @NewsGenGH. Now, the rising number of cholera cases in the metropolis has compelled the AMA to commission sanitation standard implementation committees. Their responsibilities would include monitoring sanitary conditions and having the powers to arrest residents who fail to ensure a clean environment.
The Sanitation Standards Implementation Committees are expected to work in 78 electoral areas within the Greater Accra region. Each committee will consist of 7 members. They are apart from monitoring the sanitation situation in the capital. The 7-member committee are expected to intensify house-to-house refuse collection, distribute refuse bins to every household, and embark on an education drive to sensitize people about the new standards.
The committee is not long overdue. AMA has been about the collection of refuse. Look, I always monitor what I expect. I monitor what I expect to happen on the ground. We will monitor it, we will all be involved, and we will go to the grassroots to make sure that these committees that we have formed in the various committees at the electoral area level will be very effective. Thank you so much.
Accra Mayor Alfredo Kovandapoy said, with the acquisition of 2 landfill sites in 2 districts, Gan West and South, the Assembly and its waste management contractors should have no challenge collecting and disposing of refuse on time.
Today we have no excuse not to collect every refuse on the ground. We owe the public information about our new program around the polluter pay system, which is aimed at registering every resident and every businesses in the metropolis for them to get on the program around refuse collection. We also have the responsibility, when persuasion fails, to ensure that we prosecute people to get them in line so that we can ensure an environment that is conducive for the promotion of sanitation in our city.
The mayor also called on the National Disaster Management Organization, Assembly members, and public health officers working on the committees to aggressively push for the education agenda to get the citizens to join the Assembly's tackle filth in their various communities to ensure the country as a whole is clean.
There's more news on the local news front.
WAEC has released the unofficial results of candidates who wrote the May-June 2014 WASSCE examinations. Over 60,000 candidates who wrote the examinations made grades A1 to C6 in at least 6 subjects, including English language and core mathematics, and are therefore eligible for admission to tertiary institutions. According to a statement signed by the Principal Public Affairs Officer of WAEC, Agnes Tekujo, students who wish to know their results can do so through the WAEC website using a scratch card. The London Beach Committee of Axim Brare in the Nzima East Municipality of the Western Region has donated items worth almost 15,000 cedis to their community. The Municipal Chief Executive for Nzima East, James Kakra Beidu, has appealed to committee members to assist with the upkeep of surviving victims of the Premix Dam explosion. On Friday, 22nd June 2012, fire gutted a Premix fuel dam, leading to an explosion which claimed about 4 lives, with several others injured. Sanitation within the Accra metropolis is expected to improve following the commissioning of the Sanitation Standards Implementation Committees. Their responsibilities are the monitoring of sanitary conditions in the various communities, to arrest residents who fail to ensure a clean environment. The Sanitation Standards Implementation Committee are expected to work in 78 electoral areas within the Greater Accra region.
Local news round. Now, World Humanitarian Day has just gone by, August 19th. The day celebrates people who have sacrificed their service and those who continue to bring assistance and relief to millions. So, do you think of helping people in your community? Well, we have been asking some young people what they think they can do. Here's what's up.
Yeah, disasters cause immense suffering for millions of people, especially the world's poorest, most vulnerable individuals. Everyone can be a humanitarian. Mostly, the affected people by disaster are the ones to help their community first. This is according to the United Nations. So what's up with all of that, and what can you do to help humanity?
I'll help them by building a school in the future so that they can be encouraged in educational skills, so that when they grow up, they can be a better person, like presidents, engineers, doctors, pilots, in order to help to heal those who are sick.
Some of the street girls find it difficult in getting clothes, and I think that this clothes that I'm wearing will get small one day, so I'll give it to them so that when they get money, they'll use it on other things like before, like so that they'll not spend it on dress only.
I'll build schools to educate them so that when they grow in the near future, they can become great people in their country, so that the country will move on.
I help in the sanitation and educate them so that cholera outbreak can be stopped by cleaning the environment and covering food to prevent house fires from getting to it.
In some villages, some of them, when they are coming to school, they go and sell things before coming to school, and they don't even have the bus to bring them home and go to school back. Even their classrooms, they don't have the desks to sit on, and they even write on the floor. So in the near future, when I grow up, I want to help them with buses and their desks and things.
Well, landmark of the week and what's trending coming up after this.
When your kids need it all, there's only one drink that's got it. Cowbell Chocomalt. It's got the delicious taste of chocolate, the nourishment of malt, the all-round goodness of milk, and sugar for energy, all in one sachet. All I add is water, hot or cold. Now, that's real value. And that's real teamwork. Cowbell Chocomalt, 4-in-1 value with a great new taste.
Welcome back. You're still watching News Generation. Have you liked our Facebook page yet? It's facebook.com/NewsGenerationGH. Also find us on Twitter at NewsGenGH. Now, Brazil is the second country in the world with the largest mega-diverse population. What does this mean? Well, it means they have a lot of different species of wildlife. This week's landmark takes us to the largest aquarium in South America.
The Sao Paulo Aquarium is the largest in Latin America. It was established in the year 2006. They operate on 2 million liters of water. The only themed aquarium in Brazil, this complex makes visitors feel as if they were immersed in the environment, with more than 3,000 animals from approximately 300 species. You will find a mini Brazilian forest in the first section of the aquarium. Meet some snakes and other creepy crawlers. There's also a freshwater installation. Here you can learn about issues such as river pollution and talk about endangered species. Did you know there's an albino alligator? You can find it here. Aside alligators, lizards, iguanas and snakes, there are sharks and fish of all kinds, a lone seal and a family of penguins.
And that brings our tour of the Sao Paulo Aquarium to an end. Next stop, to buy some souvenirs. See you later. Ciao. And we are back from Brazil and back to Ghana, actually. So how differently would you prepare to write an exam for the second time? Young people who could not obtain good grades in the BEC the first time around will start registration for the resit next month. The exam will start from March next year, and already some institutions are ready to groom these students.
It is time to prepare for the maiden BEC resit. So some schools have started advertising remedial classes for those rewriting the BEC. The exam, which will be written in March next year, means prospective candidates only have 5 months to prepare after registration. These young people are not rewriting, but they have some thoughts on the remedials.
I'll make sure I'll prepare adequately for the second one and reduce my time of sleeping. And most of all, my books will be my friends.
I will reduce the time of sleeping, and I will stop playing as I used to play before writing the first one. So I will learn very hard so that I can pass the next one.
My book will be my friend. I will stop playing games such like videos games.
Dr. Augustine Vomao is the director of Top Accountancy Schools. He is worried about the cost effects on the families of pupils who would have to do the remedials. He believes young people must put in extra effort to pass the exams since the time is limited.
This kind of audiovisual, gadgets, in the system is also keeping away the students or the pupils. You see, they do not have time. I would say that they have divided, attention. Most of the time is wasted on these audiovisual, gadgets. Sometimes, even in the classroom, they can be viewing these things on their phones. When they get back home, some of them choose to sleep even in the internet cafes and things like that. Parents will have to get actively involved and make sure that they give them proper attention.
Unlike these young people who are writing the exam in school, children who are to write the BEC as private candidates will only be marked based on their exam score. So Dr. Vomao is calling on the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, to consider revisiting the continuous assessment of reciters.
I will want to suggest to the authorities that they could still use their previous continuous assessment, to determine their sources.
The Ice Bucket Challenge, sometimes called the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, is an activity involving dumping a bucket of ice water on one's head or donating to the ALS Association in the United States. Now, the challenge dares nominated participants to be filmed having a bucket of ice water poured on their heads. That's what's trending.
Before the popularity of the Ice Bucket Challenge, levels of awareness, fundraising, research dollars, and overall public support for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis (ALS) were extremely low. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis is a kind of brain disease. The challenge asks people to post their video to social media and name other people, which gives them 24 hours to either record a video while they get ice water poured on their head or give a big donation to ALS research. ALS Association is reported a 1,000% increase in donation. Celebrities keep posting new videos taking the challenge, like Elizabeth Bank, Nikki Haley, governor of South Carolina, Ansel Elgort, who took on the challenge show.
Oh my God!
Well, let's take a look at international news round before we wrap up.
Liberia has imposed a nighttime curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. An area of the capital, Monrovia, has also been quarantined in a bid to halt the deadly Ebola outbreak. President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf said all movement would be blocked in and out of the West Point area. Meanwhile, 3 doctors with Ebola who started taking an experimental drug last week have shown signs of improvement. Liberia already imposed a state of emergency earlier this month, but the number of deaths from the disease has continued to climb. Heavy landslides have struck the Japanese area of Hiroshima, killing at least 27 people. The landslides happened in a residential area near a mountain on the outskirts of the city. According to Japan's weather agency, they were triggered after a month's worth of rain fell in the 24 hours up to Wednesday morning. Houses were left buried in mud and rock. Researchers believe that since 2010, an average of nearly 35,000 elephants have been killed in Africa every year. Elephants are being killed by poachers who want their tusks. They contain a material called ivory, which is used to make ornaments in parts of Asia. The researchers warn that if this continues to happen, the animals could be wiped out in 100 years. The report is published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences.
So who is ready to challenge me to pour a bucket of ice on my head? I'm waiting. Find us on facebook.com/newsgenerationgh, also on Twitter @newsgengh. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your day.
News Generation, supported by
Cowbell with Vitarid.